Okay, let's all call the order and have the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In our township meeting, Justin, I'll talk to you later. Sorry about that. I kind of wanted a heads up on what was going on, but not right during the meeting. You know how that goes. Welcome, everyone. Kelly, roll call vote.
Mark Foltz.
Here.
Mark Frazier.
Here.
Francis Griffith.
Here.
Kelly Schmidt, Stuart Farmer.
Here. All right. Agenda. We want to add a new business, Township Hall floor ceiling bid. Right, Kelly?
That's correct.
Is that it?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion been made, Mark second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed. Now that's my pen on the desk, so we're just going to do this here. Okay. July 28th regular meeting minutes. You should have those.
Motion to approve.
They're nice and typed. I read them. They look good. Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Butch, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have a special meeting. Why do we have a special meeting? August 25th.
Or for the floor.
Are you
Or the-
Motion to approve the August 25th special meeting
For the
minutes.
mulch. We had a special meeting because we took the trees out. We'd already approved that, but then we thought we better put, since we got the hall rented, better put mulch around it. We had to have a special meeting because it's over $4,500. And we had those minutes.
I made a motion.
And
Second.
Roy's made a motion and Mark has second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And at that special meeting, we passed that too. Troy, Isaac County Trade Quarter. Are you going to talk a little more about that?
Well, I'm going to talk right now. So this is the first of our 2 required public information sessions for the I-69 International Trade Corridor Local Development Finance Authority,
Meaning
the LDFA.
LDFA.
So this is where we have to have 2 of these each year, so I'll just give brief little information and if there's any questions. So the I-69 Trade Corridor LDFA is our LDFA district, which is on Lansing Road. The only active properties would be the Transfleet Trucking and Al Sisser's Auto Repair. Those are the 2 that are currently being captured in the district. The LDFA is a tax capture district that exists to capture property taxes that the DDA cannot capture, primarily school taxes, for the purpose of enhancing the infrastructure in the area. So the long-term goal of that is for water sewer infrastructure out there. Presently, the LDFA has a balance of $36,961.56. And it is simply acquiring funds to be able to be used for those infrastructure projects going forward.
Perfect.
Are there any questions from the public about the LDFA?
Being none. Was that an opening and closing of the meeting? Okay. All right. We have 2 public comment sessions. One is kind of a short one, and then we have a longer one later on. How many of you know Alicia? So most of you are with her. Okay. We have a topic on unfinished business for them. So okay. Well, with hearing none, our reports. Troy, we'll start with the sheriff report.
All right, sheriff's report. It looks like last month we had 112 incidents, of which 26 of them were traffic stops. And everything else was a lot of onesie-twosies.
Well, yes. One of the ones you choose go. Okay. Got it. Mark. Cecil.
Engine 1 has been is still being repaired. That one with the frame, and it's no other major problems have been found. And we hired Susan McGahee, that used to work at Chemical Bank, to be in the office part-time for Guy, replacing Lori. And we've spent a lot of the money that we got in that grant to update the ambulances and train paramedics and so forth. And the problem with that is we have to spend it before we get the money.
Really?
Yeah, it's a reimbursement grant, which is really tricky when you spend a big chunk of money and you gotta come up with, $100,000 to pay the bill. And we are close to being fully staffed on the ambulances.
Oh, good.
We do need more paid-on-call people for the fire. But ambulances, it's been a tough road, and that's with everybody that has ambulances. They're having a tough time getting people. And the big fire departments that have higher wages steal away a lot of people. So it's, but
Okay, Mark. Any questions for Mark? Okay, DDA, we didn't meet, we meet in October. Zoning. We had one junk and debris, another junk and debris reinspection, another junk and debris reinspect, another junk with a continuous yard sale, 365 days, reinspect 9/4, this week, whatever, that's Sunday, this week, I guess. Another junk and debris.
And another junk and debris.
And another junk and debris. The good news,
The junk police are out.
the good news is we had Joe Falzone is adding on to his personal, I think it's his personal
Classic car storage, yeah.
storage, 30 by 40 pole barn, and then another family on Lansing Road is interior remodeling. I think that is it.
Yep.
So that's our month. More coming. Our assessor is out doing her inspection, finishing that up. No complaints, no problems so far, so that's good. Okay, our county commissioner is golfing today, but he sends his regards. He did say that the county budget will come in with I don't know what we'll call it surplus, but they're going to be in good financial shape, so that's good. It's coming together quite well. And also the VA is building a new building on a piece of property. No?
no,
They're
they're remodeling the building that used to be work release.
Oh,
That's where the gardens are.
that's right.
Well,
The
there was a
gardens.
story in the paper about it.
And it's they're only taking part of the building, but they're gaining a lot of space over where they're at right now.
Yeah.
And the other one that you may not know about is Dr. Boggs is leaving at the end of the year.
He turned in his, and,
It was in the paper too.
and
Yeah, I thought it was.
John let the cat out of the bag. He is going to Michigan State University, and that's
Yeah,
evidently public knowledge now, so.
you got a big job.
Okay, so that's that. Okay, Mark, back to the library.
Library is Jamie.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep, well, thanks for having me. So we wrapped up our fiscal year at the end of June. So these are just the important statistics that I like to keep everybody updated on every year, that librarians like to keep track of. Things that are important to us. You're welcome. If anybody wants one, I've got more. So let's see. Thankfully, the last year was very normal as far as library services goes. You know, it's been a very tough couple of years for libraries and pretty much businesses and everything. But we're just starting to kind of see pre-pandemic numbers of people walking through the library, attending programs, that type of thing. We had about 56,000 people district-wide in all of our branches walk through our doors last year, which is significantly higher than it was in 2021. We had about just over 67,000 checkouts of materials. This isn't just Morris, this is all of the libraries in case you're wondering. We had, over 10,000 items brought in for patron requests, so our interlibrary loan is doing fantastic. Everything is going well. Financially, We have a full staff, thank goodness. As you kind of were talking about, it is kind of difficult to get new employees if somebody leaves. And, but thankfully, we've had 3 branch managers leave or retire or just maybe move into a sub position. And so we've been able to hire for those branch managers in the different branches. In Morris branch, hired a new branch manager.
Hi,
And her name is,
I'm Caroline.
yep. So welcome to Caroline. Do you want to say something or talk?
I'm just happy to work at the library.
So she was a patron
Yeah.
beforehand, and so she's excited to keep on the programming, and she had her first program today, so she reports it went well. So we're excited to have her. And Miss Jenny, who is the former branch manager, she did not leave CDL. She just stepped back into a sub position. She decided to kind of bring it back a little bit, and so now she's subbing at all of the different branches, and Corona specifically, most of the time. But the Morris patrons miss her, but they're happy to have her on board, and we're excited too. So, so so stop on by and say hi to her at some point.
Got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
She was a very, very well-liked lady.
Yeah. Every time I would sub, people would ask, "Where does he study?" They were always concerned. So, but she's doing a great job. So, she's filling in those big shoes very well so far. So, we're happy to have her on board. As I mentioned previously, the past year's been pretty much back to normal. Great statistics district-wide. Our summer reading program, the numbers are back up to nearly pre-pandemic numbers also. So we had over 730 kids sign up and participate in summer reading. Part of that is due to our newer badge books that we started using 2 years ago. Those are just really fun activity books that we hand out to all of the kids. I think last year I reported that we received the Emergency Connectivity Fund grant. That's a federal government grant that paid for 105 hotspots, 70 tablets, and Chromebooks with hotspots. And the service is pretty expensive, so that's something that the library would not be able to afford the monthly cost of that on its own. But the funding ended at the end of June, and I reapplied in the spring, and I just heard back that we were granted the funding for the next year. So we do have hotspots and tablets and Chromebooks with hotspots available for circulation. They're actually starting to increase in popularity, so I'm really glad that we were able to secure that funding. And as far as services go, we've got a new service called tutor.com, which is live tutoring, well, virtual tutoring, but with a real person, which was a really good service to be able to get at an affordable price, because a lot of kids, they kind of slid back due to virtual school. Some kids are not doing so well, and so they can't necessarily afford a tutor. So this tutor.com is something the library offers where they can hop on and get free tutoring from a real tutor in any either math or any subject that they need help in. And that's, kindergarten all the way through high school students or even adults who need help for college classes. So I think that's an excellent service, and I'm really looking forward to see how well that does. We just need to really start marketing a little more since school has started. But I'm really happy that we're able to provide that service. Aside from that, we continue to do the Launchpads, Wonder Books, our downloadable e-content, all of that. So everything's going well. So,
Jamie, what's in the additions in Perry? You talk about a special library of items.
oh, yeah, at our Perry branch. So, that was renovated, and we have funding through the O'Berry Trust. So it's special funding above and beyond our normal budget. So we were able to purchase it's called a library of things. This is something that lots of larger library systems offer. So we lend out unusual items that might be one-time use items for people. It could be a metal detector. It could be, there's lots of different tools on there, like a car diagnostic thing that you put in your car.
Sure.
There's tons of lawn games. We have like, you know, giant Connect 4, just all sorts of unusual stuff that people might only want to use one time and they don't want to purchase it. There's thermal leak detectors, you know, where you put it in your ceiling or you point it somewhere and it tells you where there's a leak in your home. Like a radon detection kit. So there's a whole list of things on there. And that's to check out and bring back. Lots of musical instruments on there, guitars, drums, that type of stuff. So it's, we'll see how that goes, but the larger libraries have been doing this for years. But it's available at the Perry branch. So, and then we do have a digital memory lab, which is not up and running yet. But
Digital.
it's called a digital memory lab, and what it is,
Lab.
for example, it's for somebody who might have family pictures that they want to digitize. So we have equipment to digitize, say, family home videos that are on VHS or 8mm or even slides, that type of thing, something that you have in your attic. So you can go to the library and digitize this stuff so that it's not lost.
And which, is that at Perry also?
It's also at Perry, yeah. It's not up and going. Everything is downloaded on the computer and there's a book. We have to finish making sure that the staff is trained on it so that they can show people how to use it. But that will be available hopefully soon, within the next
So Jane,
month.
so the pictures I've taken of the floor in the parking lot, my personal
Yeah.
phone, so I can take that phone in there and then I can,
Yeah, you should be able to plug it in and put it on either a thumb drive or if you want to upload it somewhere in a cloud if you have.
okay.
But like, for example, I have a lot of family videos,
So I
home
can,
videos, you know, that I can take from VHS and move it into the cloud or on a thumb drive or CD or whatever.
okay, and I'll go see her and then she'll figure it out.
Maybe.
Not her.
Oh, her?
She's
She
a
doesn't.
No, 'cause I'm
This is
bored.
a
Morris,
Perry.
oh, this is
Yeah.
Perry.
We went over to a
Yeah.
different,
I
yeah,
know.
but you can still go to
Thank
Perry.
you.
Anybody can go there.
Okay.
As long as you're a card holder, you can go there.
Sure,
Yeah.
well, that's great,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This was purchased with special funds from the O'Berry family who left
That's, yeah.
their
yeah.
their money to the
Right.
Perry
Well,
branch.
that's a great service.
Mhm.
And how's the feedback on the new Perry?
Excellent. I mean, we have a lot of positive feedback on it. It changes the entire space. People are, you know, just everything is improved. People really like it, so.
Good, great.
So
Okay.
we will like to see some upgrades in Morris. So part of our strategic plan is to upgrade all of our branches, you know, to a certain extent because it's been years since things have been updated in some branches, so.
So how do you expand the building over there?
In Perry,
In
you
Morris.
can't,
In
oh, in
Morris.
Morris, expand the building? I don't think that's possible. I asked her to come up with maybe a different space plan, but there's no expanding. My bedroom is bigger than I believe the one,
Yeah.
I know it is.
It is a very.
But it's a cute.
You described it well. It's a very quaint, cute little building.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, they do really well with the amount of space that they're given.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, a huge number of patrons that go through there.
yeah, the locals, you know, it's walkable, they have their school kids, you know, that community really loves that little library,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Any
Appreciate it.
questions? No? Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Now-
I live in Perry Township, so. Yeah.
She's a voter.
Yeah, the my tax office.
Let's go to
She
work,
likes
too.
the new parking lot.
Yeah, I do.
So, we're gonna move on to Troy, I-69 train.
Well, I covered it. We haven't had a meeting, a regular meeting.
Okay, I didn't think it. Okay, back to SEDP.
SEDP,
SEDP.
actually, in the last meeting, the major discussion and quite a bit of time was spent talking about the future of the armory and the chamber. And it so happens that one of the members of the board for SEDP is also chairman of the board for the chamber. And she's trying real hard to put a good face on it, but real frankly, there probably isn't a good face to put on it. So we're going to be moving at some point.
Sure. By the end of, or after the end of the year or whatever?
Well, probably, hopefully, actually, our lease is up to October 31st,
It's
Halloween.
coming up.
And I don't think the county's gonna be ready for us, because I don't think the veterans remodel, because we're going in the space they used to have in the Surveck building, so.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be good.
So but we pay a lot of money in the armory, and they got a tough thing. They're almost fully occupied, and they're still upside down.
And you've got a grant writer now. SEDP has a part-time grant writer.
Yep, and she's doing a good job.
She's actually going to meet with people tomorrow, noon to 3:30, and I'm not available.
Tomorrow, week.
Thursday. Oh, it's a week. Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay, I thought it
The
was 17th.
15th.
Is it the 15th? But she told her that was bad, you know, but we're going to set a time up to meet her.
Yeah, she's actually from New Lothrop originally. So, she's done some good work for people, and
I've heard that.
that being her it's her private business. She's pretty good at it. So.
Okay. And then the planning commission.
Well, we have one issue that's going to be on pause and more. It's on the agenda. Actually, both issues that were on there are on the agenda. We did get a report from Beth on working on the master plan, and we're in the map phases and eliminating some things that have become obsolete in that original master plan. So.
Okay, very good, very good. Troy, financial report today. And
Okay, you've got your bills list in front of you, very long list this month because we went 6 weeks between meetings. So,
That's right.
so you have a lot of, you're gonna see a lot of things twice. So that would have been the end of, come in right at the end of July because we met a week early there, and just the way, being the 7th, we were working a week late here, so. Then we had, of course, our election bills for the August primary. It did would be our 3rd revenue sharing check of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
So we're at 55% of what we budgeted, so we've received half of them, so we're in good shape there. Any questions on the bills?
No.
I said again, there's a lot of duplicates because we're end of July and then got 2 months worth.
Looks good.
Motion approved.
Mark has made a motion to approve the bill. All right, Butch is second. Roll call vote. Kelly?
Mark Foltz?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Francis Griffith?
Yes.
Amy Schmidt, yes. Ray Farmer?
Yes.
Great, okay. Correspondence, the main correspondence, certified mail, of course, we get this from the drain office once every,
So it's
Or
for,
once a year?
it's just, there's a day of review for 3 drains within our jurisdiction. They're doing review of apportionments. They're all in the northeast corner of the township.
And we put a map, and that actual review was August 31st, last day of the month, last month, but it's something that appears on tax bills, so we obviously
Anybody
bring it up.
anybody in those districts got to know this.
So that was the communication I had. Public comment, second comment session. Any general comments? Okay, I see some people have left. Okay. Unfinished business, special use permit for Alicia Ringen, Pauls and more. Troy.
Well, Mark, why don't you give us a little synopsis of
Well,
the
the
planning
planning
commission?
commission reconsidered this, and it was a pretty lively discussion, I would say, and luckily you guys were able to attend this time. Last time everybody was sick, I think, and it made it difficult. But the planning commission this time did reconsider their recommendation to allow this to be there with some codicils on the agreement about not staying, the special use permit would not stay with the property, and it would expire if the business closed or the property was sold. So, it was not a unanimous decision, just so you know, but it did pass, so.
Okay.
So it came back to the township board. Now, this was where the township board was sitting anyway, pretty basically, so I don't see any conflict at this point. It's gonna, as it always happens, it's gonna become the county's real decision.
So that'll be later in the month. I think it's the third Wednesday of the month. I may be wrong, but I think.
Fourth.
Third or fourth, yeah, I'm not sure.
So
You
the
may know.
conditions
The
were,
28th,
20th,
the 28th,
that'd be the fourth Wednesday.
28th?
that's what I have on my
Okay,
record.
okay.
Fourth Wednesday is when they.
Fourth Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, the conditions were it does not transfer with the property if it's sold or the business ceases to exist. No commercial signs, business traffic hours, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., no construction of kennels. And then they had a question about liability on a private road, which I'm not quite sure what that's about, but.
Oh, there was a concern by Joe that is the township liable because it's a private road and we've approved a business.
Specifically not because it's a private road, and we are not the final say, the county's the final say.
Right, so that was.
The only other thing that I thought maybe we should have just in this guy, I think kind of goes with it, but that one of the conditions should be that the license holder complies with the private road use and maintenance agreement attached to our property.
And
I mean,
there was
which
a lot of
you already
discussion
kind of
about it.
already are bound to it because it's recorded with your deed. I just think it just to clarify.
There was
it.
quite a bit of discussion about that, and they actually handled most of the maintenance on the road
Correct.
anyways.
Right, but I mean, there's a recorded, so anytime, ever since Thornapple Drive existed,
Yeah,
anytime there's a private road put in, there is a private road maintenance use agreement that's required. I mean, that private road was constructed with a special use permit, and that document is required and governs that. I mean, it's boilerplate language and all that. But that was my only suggestion, that we just mention that as one of those conditions in there. She's already bound by it because it's a deed recorded restriction. But, yeah, there's nothing in it that prohibits this, so, you know.
Any discussion? Okay, hear none.
We haven't made a motion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the special use permit for Alicia Reagan for with the noted information, exception
With the noted
information.
the
Conditions
conditions
from the planning commission's minutes,
and
also this
private road maintenance.
private roads maintenance use plan. Okay.
I'll sign that.
Motion
Which
made.
second first?
Which, motion been made and second. Roll call vote, Kelly?
Mark Frazier,
yes.
Francis Griffith,
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes, Troy Permley.
Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Very good.
So, I mean, we appreciate you working through this and just trying to get all the, you know, details ironed out and stuff, and it was actually more helpful when we were able to talk to the other person on the road what more of the concerns were and stuff. So, just be mindful, it is a private road, and, you know, it's one of those things, everyone, when somebody buys something, they think, okay, that's not a big deal, until all of a sudden, it is a big deal on it, and so, I remember when, I've heard the story when Thornapple Drive, just down the road on Beard Road, was developed 40 years ago. First person bought the lot at the very end of it, and didn't realize that a private road meant that nobody plows your road in the winter. And they got a rude awakening, so yeah, I would have planned to attend the county meeting there, and we will forward our information up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it.
It's
The 28th.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's what you're talking about, okay.
And that's at the Surbeck building in Corona, which is the building across the street from the old courthouse.
Yes, got it. Y'all be there, I take it?
No.
No, we
Oh, none of y'all will be there?
We will send a letter with our, but there is one of the members on the planning commission is on that board
One of
too.
Yeah, I
those
think he
members
was
at the
behind
last
me.
meeting will be there.
Okay.
But
No, we go to enough meetings.
We'll write a notice and it'll go to Pete Pratt, to their
Yeah,
office.
we send a letter with our 2 official actions, and
If you want me to call you when it's ready, you can come by and pick up a copy of it or whatever, if you'd like. And then
you can drop one in
we'll
the
have
mail.
it- Or we'll just drop it off, and then that way you'll have it, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Okay, new business, variance recommendation for Very Cool Stuff Incorporated. Mark Frazier.
There again, we felt there wasn't any
Take care, guys.
real problem with doing this one.
Okay.
It was, there was some questions about the back set, but there's nothing, it's not really developable so much behind it, so it's,
It's in the village, isn't it?
no, it's on Rose Boulevard.
No, I meant the piece behind it.
Oh, it might,
I
well,
think it is.
It could be.
it's directly to the,
And they were notified, I mean,
it's
they,
directly to the east.
correct, which is in the
It'll
village.
be in the
Is
village,
it?
wouldn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay.
No, is my understanding, they were on the list of places they notified, so.
Okay.
But in truth, we didn't see, there was questions about whether it was gonna be too far forward to match up with the other properties, but, next door, his property is, his buildings are quite toward the front of the lot and to the back, so I mean, it's an industrial park.
It's an industrial park, and I don't know that minimum setbacks are against the back line, I mean, it's,
Oh, there was some question about that, but Dwayne rattles off those setbacks, and, it was.
personally, I think they're excessive setbacks myself.
The numbers, the amount.
Well,
I mean, it's one of those things, if you're boarding a residential district, it should be one thing, but that's an industrial park, you're right, Mark.
when there's another building on the other side of the property line, the problem becomes with the setback is more for fire with the radiant heat from the fire,
Sure.
and that's, in that case, it's actually too close, but it's fires are different today than they were even 20 years ago, as far as the material that's in the buildings and,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of thing, so.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion, could we agree with the planning commission on the variance request for Very Cool Stuff?
Okay, Troy's made a motion.
I'll second.
I saw Butch's hand first.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, Butch seconded it, okay, all in favor,
Bye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
So why do we need a roll call?
We
vote for this one?
should do a roll call there.
Let's do a roll call, Kelly. Just because we're all out.
Francis Griffith.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Parmalee.
Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes. Consistency, Mark, consistency.
Consistency, yeah, that's, we want consistency. Okay, Troy, resolution number 62022.
So Tina, our assessor, has wanted us, this is one of the requirements in the AMR review, is that we have a policy for real property exemptions. So these are properties that are exempt from the tax roll. This is based on guidelines from the state, and if you notice where it's bullet points 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are kind of the meat and potatoes of it, that the real estate or personal property must be owned, occupied, and used by the exemption claimant. The exemption claimant must meet the criteria established in one of the attached documents. The claimant must be incorporated under the laws of the state of Michigan, and the exemption only exists when the buildings or other property thereon are occupied by the claimant solely for the purpose for which it's incorporated. So if you're incorporated as a church, the property must be used for a church.
Okay. And that's the kind of properties we're talking about.
Well, it's going to be for anything that's not on the tax roll. It could be for township-owned property. It could be for property owned by the city. It could be property, any governmental unit or a church or a other nonprofit. I think Tina's general feeling is perhaps things have been a little loosey-goosey over the years, on which ones are and aren't. and this is a state requirement that we have this in place. So we need to adopt it, and then she intends to send a questionnaire out to all of the properties that are presently exempt for them to answer.
Well, this year and
Now,
next year.
is that also disability veterans?
No, those are separate. Because disabled veterans have to be approved every year. They have to apply for that every year.
All right,
So this is only for permanent exemptions, and this would be
Churches.
government, churches,
okay.
you know, that sort of thing. Good question, Butch. No, I want to-
Bingo
Schools.
halls, bingo halls. Okay.
So, I'll be honest, one that I know is gonna come up, and we should all be prepared for it, is gonna be the Laborers Training Institute.
Oh, really? Okay, okay.
Because
Is
that
that
would,
currently exempt?
Yes,
Yes.
it is, yeah.
Because it's a
2 years
school.
ago, 3
School.
years ago,
because it's a school.
school training,
And it's always been a gray area,
yeah,
because, you know, it's also a union facility.
sure.
And where, you know, so Tina's gonna look at, and there's been they have a facility up in the UP that has been extensively litigated over this.
Really?
So she's gonna, you know,
That's
review that. But they also have multiple parcels. And so, you know, for the main facility, and this is just like a church or anything else, if a church owns a piece of land that is not the church, it
Particularly
should,
if they rent it out to somebody or something.
it should not be tax exempt.
Right.
I mean, only,
Farmer's field or whatever.
well, I remember when we rented the water property,
Yeah.
we had to put it on the tax roll.
Yeah.
Because if you are a exempt entity and you are making money off of it, that's not okay,
Right.
you know? I think there's gonna be a couple of those pop up, where there's been a couple church properties that are not used by a church, you know?
So with the union property, it could be that if the union uses the property, like
Well,
that
that-
campground or something, that could be.
Well, and I think, you know, the issue that may come up is like where the billboard is, or, you know, some of the vacant land where the facility is not.
True.
Because it's in many parcels, it's not all one parcel. So that's for the assessor to deal with, but I'm just forewarning everybody that may circle around and
And then
come to
the
us.
Witness Church on South 52, on the right, that.
Correct, if it's not being used as a church,
Right now, it's nothing,
and it's on the tax roll.
and it's on the tax roll now, so.
About
Those
how
issues,
many
those
acres
kind of
is
things.
that
Where?
at the school?
Well, it's a better part of a quarter section, I mean, it's 100 and some.
Most of yours even.
It's a big, yeah. it's a
Is
big-
I mean, Tina's gotta do her homework on that and stuff, and she'll be in touch with us. But what she is doing now, to start, is she is sending a questionnaire out to every exempt property and asking them to fill it out. And she just advised, she said, if they come to you and ask questions about it, tell them just to fill out the form. Don't tell them,
Anything.
you know, anything. Just tell them to fill it out, because this will be looked at on us for the AMAR review, because the state's gonna look at it and say, okay, if this is just a vacant field that the church owns and rents it out, that should be on the roll. That shouldn't be exempt.
Now, is
And they'll look at it for us, for our review, so that's,
Spatafor's property on the tax roll?
because he owns it.
Right, well, that's, I mean, but it probably wasn't when the
No, he
state
owned it,
leased
it
it.
was, because he owned it. And leased it.
Oh, okay.
Just like the post office, for example. That's not owned, the bank owns, like in Morris, the bank owns the post office. That's on the tax roll, always has been.
Okay,
But like, for example, our hall is exempt here.
right.
The cemetery is exempt, because that's for a public purpose, but we had the water property, which we've since sold, but we had put that on the roll. We have a couple little slivers of land in a few spots, and I know she has put those on the roll before, because they're not being used for public purposes.
Right, right. Okay.
So we need to adopt this to be in compliance, but I want everybody to know we may get questions.
Does someone want to make a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion we adopt it.
Mark, make a motion, we adopt it. Butch will second that. Roll call vote, Kelly?
Frank Carmeling.
Yes.
Mark Gold.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes.
All right, Kelly. We'll use Troy's invisible ink there. Let's see what Perfect, okay. Let's see. Item 3, new business.
Oh, set public
for-
hearing.
Set
So-
public date for
This-
Spartan Fence. I have,
So this is our
okay,
Spartan Fence, they have a tax abatement on their new building, which we renew every 2 years. And so this is our
second year.
second year they filled out, they've submitted the application, it didn't come in time for this meeting, because we have to publish it, so we need to set a public hearing at our October 5th meeting for that. And I'll make that a motion.
Public hearing October 5th. Okay, I'll second that. I'll second that.
Kelly seconded.
Kelly seconded that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good, done. And Kelly, when you're done writing, Township Hall floor sealant bid. Did we get that out of the other document when we did before?
No, it specifically excluded this.
Oh,
It did. I looked.
Oh,
So, we got our new floors in. They look beautiful, but they're unsealed. So we have to approve a bid to seal up the floors. There's 2 bids here. One, the $2,575 one is actually a 5-year wax.
which one?
There's 2 of them. There's the $2,575.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You see it?
Well, 2430 without the sales tax.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
2430, okay.
Okay, so that's a 5-year treatment of the floor to seal it up. And down at the bottom, you'll see, depending on the traffic, this might require a clean and a polish after a few years to keep the high shine luster to make it look good. He's estimating that at $750 if we need to do that.
About the $750 difference for the difference between 1 to 2 to 4 to 5. That ain't a hell of a lot.
Nope. So, okay, so the second one is what we typically would have done. That's $1,665. So that is a 1 to 2 year wax, where the other one's a 5-year wax. So after this 1 to 2 year wax is expired, used up, it would have to be stripped and then re-waxed.
Right.
And Troy looked up the last time that we had to do a strip and wax, it was about $1,100 to do that. So you're looking at every 2 years, 1 to 2 years, $1,100 plus.
What kind of wax is that, 4 or 5-year wax? I wonder. Just curious,
I don't know. It's new.
just curious.
It's a new product that he's using. So.
Well,
Well, I mean, as long as it truly holds up, it's a better deal.
Right. Right. He said that he did not charge us to move things around. We had, this whole room was
Right.
full of stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
he didn't charge us to do that when he laid the tile, but he said he's gonna charge us to do it, to move stuff
Well,
around
that's not-
to wax it up, so.
so what's your recommendation?
I would recommend the 2430, the 5-year, just so that we don't have to keep doing it.
What's your
Oh, I
recommendation?
second that.
You too?
Well, yeah, in the long
What's your
run.
thought?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we bite the bullet and go for a 5-year wax job on the brand new floor, which, thanks for the ARPA money. And so I'll make that motion.
Second.
2430, not to exceed 2430. Correct? Butch second?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have in a minute, we'll have a roll call. Okay. Maybe a minute and a half. Maybe 2 minutes.
This will be easier time to, but won't take as long.
As long as we're getting it, because, he may not be around in 2 years, so it'd be nice, he knows what he's.
Well, so our history on it, we looked it up, we lasted it in 19, so we really went 3 years, but of course, we weren't rented for a year. So, I mean, and then before that, we did it 2 years within a buffer in the middle, so that's good.
Okay, all right.
Mark's
Okay,
All right, so the motion made, seconded, roll call vote, Kelly.
For the 25,
yeah.
Yes, the higher one.
I'm sorry I had to do that, but my
24,
company
30.
car has the air conditioning stuck on, almost full blast, and
Oh,
so I drank a lot of coffee today. So
2430, okay.
Okay, let's see. Mark Folk.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffith.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Carmen.
Yes.
Anything else? Butch, Mark?
Nope.
Okay, with that, all in favor of adjournment?
Motion adjourned.
All right.